Boom. Hey everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome to another evening with your host, me. I saw somebody said I would make a better Chewy. It's actually true. I would. So, guys, we got a lot to cover tonight. A lot. We got a lot to cover and a fair amount of time to get it done. I like to get it done quicker. Man, tired. So far, so good. Yes, yes, we're gonna get into Roku. We're gonna get into US Steel. We're gonna get into Kodak. We're gonna get into ADT. We're gonna get into earnings. We're gonna get into volume. We're gonna get into options and pot stocks. Oh my. Guys, I am your host for this evening's fun-filled magic ride through options. I know you guys are usually looking at Mike. I clearly have a much better head of hair. I wear hats, but I also wear a Chewbacca mask. So, guys, as you can see, I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd. So yeah. So I'm going to want everybody to hit that like button, hit the notification bell if you've never been in here, and just get ready. So what we're going to do for the first 15 minutes, which is pretty customary, is I'm going to ask you guys a series of questions. Okay? Now we're going to start off with the first one. If 30 full-grown men can take on a polar bear without any weapons with their bare hands, what do you think? Oh, sorry. Real questions. You guys get to ask them. All right. So, let's go. Ba, 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 ba. So, Roku. All right, we'll get into this. So, did I play Roku options today? Mike and I actually talked about this on the stream yesterday. And I said that I was going to wait. All right, as much as I wanted to, and as much as I think that, or thought that, we could deviate from what's happened the last couple of times that it's had earnings. I had to respect. My respect for history is trumped my need to play and gamble with the options. I know some people did, and they're going to get absolutely stuffed tomorrow. It's funny because I did a one-on-one right after the close, and we were watching Roku in real time, and I had said to him, I go, watch. I was like, this thing's going to hit 155. And sure enough, we hit 155. So, you know, look, the thing that you need to know about Roku is, and I went into this yesterday, that thing's going to move around a lot tomorrow. So if you are a scalper, and I don't mean like getting in, you know, for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I'm saying if you're looking to do real quick swings on an option tomorrow, Roku is going to be your Super Bowl. Okay. Jersey Devil Seafood. Yes, we did. I did the ADT YOLO. It went up, and then it went down, and then ADT closed after hours at 11.85. Those options are for August 21st. That thing's gonna suck. That's going to be a lot of work. Roku hits $1.70 tomorrow. No, I mean, look, Johnny B, and I know Mike likes to say hello to everybody. It's like reading characters from The Simpsons. I don't think that you're going to see 170 tomorrow. I think it's going to move around. It's going to pop. It's going to fade. It's going to pop. It's going to fade. You know, think about every time we've gotten into a Roku option in TTG. And, you know, that's what the option is going to do all day tomorrow. So it's going to, you know, it's like we get in at 450 and then it jumps to 570. Then it's back at 450 in like 90 seconds. That's what it's going to do. It's just going to be a little bit more spread out. Last earnings, I was playing 128 calls all day. And it was just like, go down to 126, go back to 128. Go down to 126, go back to 128. It was nuts. So, and to give you an idea, the move was similar. 139 close, if my memory serves me correct. Then we popped up, and then it was like flush. And the last earnings before that, it was 139 close, popped to 150, 155, and then drop. 130 next day. So, you got to be careful. Justin Birdie, yes, thank you. Don't say hello, do your thing. And we could get in. We'll save Roku for later. All right. So everybody that's on this stream tonight, I'm assuming that you know who I am, and you've been here before. Show of hands if you don't know who this jackass is in front of you. Please, because I'm curious. What's up, Nick? Am I still in those Boeing calls? No. The 165 Boeing calls? I wish. I wish. I'm out of my weed options also. I got out of them yesterday. A little early, but still a really nice move. We're still in US Steel. I got a really nice sized position in that. I'm in Kodak puts. I'm in, $14 August 14th Kodak puts. So, those are going to be interesting. You know, it was funny. I think it was actually one of the members today sent me a message. Oh no, it wasn't one of the members. Maybe it was. The volume today on IWM was shockingly low. And it had a really nice move. Oh, PS 153. There you go. I thought it'd maybe take a day or two, but I didn't think it would be that quick. So IWM, the Russell 2000, is back to 153. That was a level Mike and I were talking yesterday about. Just right through it. Nice, Colin. Kodak puts. Kodak or ADT, one of them better hit. Guys, look, you know, one of the things that you need to understand is when you are playing earnings in any capacity, if the option's 2 weeks out, if the option expires this week, you are playing just a game of Russian roulette where there's more bullets in the gun than just one. All right, so you know, you put the bullets in. You only think that there's one, and there's like three. You spin the chamber, put it to your head, and game over. You know, I mean, that's what all these earnings have been like. So let's say Roku ended up opening at like 165. All right, closed at like 164, 165. The premium, that option's still gonna get screwed with. It'll be dead. You know. You know, everybody that chased that option was chasing like a bigger move. That bigger move is not going to happen tomorrow. But that's not to say that it can't not happen. All right. So, you know, like ADT. All right. Guys, the volume on ADT the other day after Google bought 6.6% was unreal. 187 million. Yesterday's volume was like 20 million. Today's volume was a lot less. My thinking was, you know, they're going to give like, I didn't think that they would miss. They didn't miss. Or they didn't miss badly, I should say. I thought that they would give more guidance on the partnership with Google. You know, that happened. And honestly, though, we haven't seen a flush on it yet. So even though I'm $3 out of the money on my call options, you know, there's still hope. But we'll see. We'll see what that thing opens at. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the ADT option opens at like 30, 35 cents tomorrow and it closed at 60, 70. For people in Roku, I mean, if you bought calls in Roku, a 166 call, a 165 call, I mean, sorry. Tomorrow that thing is just pretty much dead. When do I start preparing for tomorrow? After the market closed? Yeah, you know, I'll look while I can to see what's going on after hours. And then I'll just, you know, I'll be watching futures and see what they're doing. And futures look pretty good. I mean, they're decent. They're nothing. It's nothing crazy. So I'll watch futures. I'll see. You know, and that's just kind of a good routine to have. It's not going to be 100% bulletproof, but you know, taking a look at futures, see which one, you know, out of the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq, which one is looking the strongest. That could give you a sense of, you know, where the money is going to go, where it's going to leave, and, you know, where rotation might be. I always use it as if, let's say, everything's getting hit. All right, let's say everything's in the red. But IWM is like, you know, let's say everything except the IWM is in the red 1%. And maybe IWM is like 0.5%. All right, well, then I'm thinking, all right, yeah, IWM is going to be a little bit stronger tomorrow. What small caps in the Russell can I target? And then you could do the same thing for the Nasdaq. You could do the same thing for the S&P, and that'll kind of give you a clue as to, you know, which grouping of stocks you need to look at in that day. Did we get a stim bill? No. We got something for eviction that was proposed by Kristen Gillibrand to stop evictions until March of 2021. It's nuts. You know, the eviction thing is not the smartest thing to have go on during a pandemic. It's also just really fucking awful. You know, basically kicking everybody out of their house during a pandemic, house, apartment. And I, you know, at some point, the people, the landlords, you know, also have to be paid Because that could be their income, and it's like, you're putting them out of a job, and it's just a really nasty situation. So they need to come up with some sort of happy median, even though there's nothing really just happy about it. Okay. Good question. Why don't I sell options? I don't sell options because I don't feel the need that I have to. And look, selling options is a really good strategy for some, but sometimes when you sell an option and it just goes horribly wrong, that's when you can get yourself into some serious trouble. And I'm sure you guys have seen stories about it. And honestly, that's just why I don't do it. I'd rather just buy calls, buy puts, like do what I do throughout the course of the day, and then sleep good at night. Because, think if you were like selling Tesla puts, and then the market's closed and, you see it's gapping up $100. Or they get some news after hours and it goes up $100. Like, you're not sleeping at night. Like, awful. DRV SRS. DRV and SRS, for those of you that don't know, are two inverse ETFs that basically go against real estate. I like those as hedges against the market. Although DRV isn't really doing much, and that's the same for SRS. Usually I understand because the SPY is just like flying. But I would usually use that as a hedge against the market. I used it, I think, 2 weeks ago as a hedge against the market. And I actually had to average down for that hedge to even work. Yes, Johnny W. Selling options equals unlimited risk. That is very true. Colin asks, what's your sentiment of the market considering the conditions of the world? Guys, I'm really, really bearish on this market, which, I know the TTG members will find amusing because I would say that I'm probably 2 to 1 in calls versus puts. But like, I can take my bias out of the equation. Like, guys, we're 33% drop in GDP growth. We're gonna have 10.5 million people, or 10.5% unemployment by December. Tomorrow we'll get some more unemployment numbers. Even where I live, like, there's a shopping center, and there's like a standalone restaurant in there. Done. They were trying everything that they could do. That thing's toast. The food industry, okay? Your restaurants, I'm not talking about your McDonald's, I'm talking about your Olive Gardens, all of that stuff. That's 25% of the workforce in the United States. Most of those things, I think, like, the percentage is going to be 30 to 40% never come back. That's going to be an issue, guys. It's going to be a really huge issue. So I think that there's going to be a lot of issues that we have to deal with down the road. Right, ready? Ready for everybody to not like me? But if you don't like me, whatever. Because I think that we need to be taxed more. I think that I need to be taxed more. I think that the top brackets in the United States have sucked enough off of the government teat. And I know that you guys like to think that socialism is a left-leaning thing, but it's really, secretly the right loves it, because all we're doing right now is just corporate socialism. Like the stock market is a smokescreen. Because think about it this way, guys: 50% of the S&P 500 is 5 companies. All the other companies are flailing. Tech is the only thing holding this market up. And how do you have a market or a stock market that is dependent on tech so bad? Now, what if we get into some issue with China and they were like, you know what? F you guys, trade war is back on. And we're no longer gonna, we're kicking American companies out of here. What happens to the tech companies? What happens to the biotech companies if you disrupt that supply chain, especially during a pandemic? Guys, I was against the tax cuts in 2018 when they happened. Everybody would say to me, "Oh, you're crazy. They're going to be so good for you." I was like, short term, yeah, they'd be great. Even though I can't write off dinners anymore. But yeah, short term they'll be great. I go, but it's not leaving much of a margin for error if we have serious issues down the road. Serious issues like, say we have like 4 massive hurricanes hit. Okay? That's huge. Influences everything, and that's a business that I know. Now, what happens if hurricanes start hitting? Guys, we just got a tropical storm and everybody's pissing their pants, and it's not even August, or it's just August, like the first day of August. Guys, when I would chase storms, we didn't even count August as like hurricane month. It was always September, October, late August maybe. John W. Kodak can produce the stuff we need. Is that a joke? It's always funny when I take a look and I see what's being written. I'm drinking espresso. 9 o'clock. Thoughts on inflation coming? It's going to be a gold rush for gold. Let's put it that way. Guys, inflation's already here. I hate to break it to you. Let me stand up. Man. These, I haven't put on these Under Armour shorts in a while, and they're really uncomfortable. Guys, you're already experiencing inflation. Hate to break it to you. If you want to do a test of this, take a look at. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna add the cost of milk and eggs. Yes.
Just want to call and say hi to my team.
Hold on. Well, you've got the floor.
TTG crew, what's going on, guys? The roles have been reversed. Just figured I would call. I was just tuning in to listen to the Wolf go over the whole situation with China and the tech companies, and I figured I would just kind of call and see how my crew was doing and touch base and join the conversation while I'm driving in my car for a few minutes.
Sure, we'd love to have you. Now, Michael, this is how you do the live streams with somebody on the phone. You know, we've got the barrier of the people, and then we've got you and I talking. All right, guys, this feels weird, so I'm gonna have Mike represented like this. Okay, so when he talks, this is what you're gonna get. So Mike is gonna be represented by Chewbacca, but guys, I don't know, Mike. So I was just saying how right now the market is kind of it's really delicate. It's a house of cards.
Sure.
It's very dependent on tech, but at the same time, it's like what can blow down this house of cards?
Yeah, and I think, and honestly, that was I was listening to the live stream, and this topic was like, you know what? Let me call in because it's funny because you and I completely disagree, but also agree at the exact same time, and I think it's really good for members to and for people to understand that, you know, what makes like two sides of the market and how. I mean, listen, our teaching members, you guys don't know that Jason and I have very, very different trading styles, but a lot of times we align on similar things and similar trade ideas, and that's when, you know, when two completely different styles come to the same conclusion is usually when he and I will have a lot of confidence in a particular trade. Like, I know, I'm not sure if Wolf, if you've talked about Roku or not yet, but I know you're going to be all over Roku tomorrow. Roku is something that I'm going to be focusing on tomorrow as well. So, TTG fam, tomorrow in chat, you might get, you know, the Wolf and I attacking Roku, you know, off of their earnings at the same time. And if he hasn't gone through with you his Roku plan, I highly suggest you guys all listen up because Roku is by far Jason's highest accuracy stock when he trades it. I mean, TG members all know that, you know, the guy, I mean, he's surgical with those Roku options and has just been crushing Roku. And now that with an earnings print out, we may get even some wider range on Roku that could provide for some really, really, really big opportunity. So that's something that you guys are definitely going to want to pay attention to tomorrow when it comes to Roku, because both of us are going to be focusing on it. I just wanted to just add or just touch upon like what you were saying with how guys like Jason is bearish on the overall markets and for very, very good reason. And, you know, I'm bearish on the economy, but I'm bullish on the stock market. And I want to explain to you guys why. And Jason and I actually both agree on what a potential catalyst could be that could break this market down. Okay. And there's two different scenarios that I foresee as being the next catalyst to bring the market down. And that's absolutely nothing to do with coronavirus. Coronavirus, I think, is the market has just completely accepted the fact that between the Federal Reserve and Congress, and this is my opinion, between the Federal Reserve and Congress, there will be enough stimulus to inflate asset prices and hold the markets together until there's a vaccine. So I think we're going to get as much stimulus as possibly needed to hold the markets together until there's a vaccine. And once there is a vaccine, I think the news of the vaccine will push the markets to all-time highs. I think that we're going to have 10, 11, 12% unemployment with a stock market at all-time highs. And I think that the discrepancy between the stock market and the overall economy is going to become further and further evident as tech companies continue their dominance in the space. You know, I've heard some people talk about tech companies and comparing it to the dot-com bubble, and I could not disagree with the people that make that argument anymore, because the dot-com bubble was just like the cannabis industry in 2014. And many of you that are on this live stream, that's how you guys found Jason, because of his you know, he was the leading, you know, source of information and trade ideas when it came to the cannabis sector. And that's how many of you even know who he is today. But the companies that came out during the cannabis boom just like the companies that came out during the dot-com bubble, were shells of companies. They were companies that just put the word internet in a press release, just like in 2014, it was companies that just put the word cannabis in a press release. But the companies, they didn't have the revenue, they didn't have the growth, they didn't have the cash on hand, they didn't have the intellectual property, they didn't have the technology, the software, the innovation, they didn't have any of it. It was all like an idea. So to compare what you are seeing in Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook to what you saw in the slew of companies that went belly up in 2000 when the dot-com bubble burst is night and day. You can't compare the two. And I think that the problem that you're having is a point that Jason just brought up, which is, almost half the S&P is made up by 5 companies. And that's because it's a market cap weighted ETF. And what you're going to be dealing with is, as tech companies continue their dominance, which I think they're going to, whether the economy opens or stays closed, you guys have seen that, okay, when we had a roaring economy and 3.6% unemployment, what dominated? The NASDAQ and tech. The economy shuts down, we have massive unemployment, what dominates? The NASDAQ and tech. And that discrepancy between the tech sector and what's actually going on in the real economy, that discrepancy is going to continue, I think, to expand. And I think you're going to start to see in the future and going forward where there's a major disconnect between stock market prices and the actual real economy because of this weightedness of these. Now you're approaching $2 trillion market cap in Apple, 1.6 or 1.7 trillion in Amazon. Okay? And I think that is going to continue to expand. Now this brings back to where Jason and I completely do agree that if you do have another trade war and China says, hey, Apple, screw you, what do you guys think that that's going to do? You guys remember, Apple was right dead smack in the middle. Apple was right dead smack in the middle of the trade wars, the trade war discussion when everything was going on. Apple was right in the crosshairs. And if you have a company like Apple that shaves off a couple $100 billion in market cap because of a trade war issue, then that's going to bring down the entire tech sector, the NASDAQ, and what makes up half of the S&P 500. And that could cause a sustained pullback because the rest of the sectors in the S&P are not strong enough fundamentally right now with the weakened economy to keep the markets higher. Tech is. The rest of the sectors, in my opinion, are not. And what I think is, if you do get a China trade war, then I think you have a major problem because that's going to bring tech down. And if you bring tech down, you bring the entire market down. If we do not have a China trade war situation and tech is not hurt, then I think you have, when we get a vaccine, the market pushes to all-time highs. Once the market pushes to all-time highs with the vaccine and the coronavirus is in the rearview mirror, once the coronavirus is in the rearview mirror, that's when I think the next potential problem and real sell-off arises. And that's when inflation starts to kick in and the Federal Reserve has choice but to raise interest rates. Now, right now, inflation is not an issue because demand is weak and oil prices are low. And as long as demand is weak and oil prices are low, inflation should stay in check. But with all the stimulus and the additions to the money supply that the Federal Reserve has injected into the markets and to the economy and Congress over these last couple of months, that will spark inflation. Okay? That will spark inflation once demand picks back up. And once you have a vaccine and the coronavirus is in the rearview mirror, and I'm not saying this is going to happen next month or 2 months from now. It's going to take time to get the vaccine, for people to get vaccinated. But once that happens and COVID is in the rearview mirror, I think you're going to see a massive, massive surge in economic demand as people get out there and they just get back to their lives and they go shopping, they travel, they get on planes. And once people start traveling again, they get on planes, they're driving, that's going to cause an increase in demand for oil. That's going to make oil prices rise. So as you have demand for product and services in the economy and then demand for oil, that is when you will start to have inflation will start to rise. And I think that once inflation gets over that 2% figure, which is currently the Fed's target mark, and I also would not be surprised to see the Fed remove their 2% target of inflation and leave it open-ended as to not put that clear benchmark on things where because they'll show their hand. If the Federal Reserve keeps a 2% target for inflation, then they're showing their hand. Then everybody knows once inflation gets over 2%, the Fed's going to act and raise interest rates. So everyone's going to anticipate that move if everyone knows their benchmark is 2%. So I would not be the least bit surprised if they remove that 2% benchmark. Keep eyes out for that over the next couple of months. But if inflation starts to get over 2%, the Federal Reserve is going to have no choice but to raise interest rates to keep that inflation in check. And the last time the Fed raised interest rates was 2018, December. For those of you that have a chart in front of you, pull up from December of 2018. All hell broke loose. And that was on the fundamental underlyings of a strong economy with a 3.7, 3.8% unemployment rate. And the market took a gigantic shit when the Federal Reserve said we're going to raise interest rates. So bad that Fed Chairman Powell walked back those statements, stopped raising rates, and actually ended up cutting rates in 2019. Well, we don't have the luxury of walking back the interest rate hike if the reason for the hike is inflation. So the Fed will not have a choice but to raise rates, and it's going to be right into the face of an economy with double-digit unemployment, and an economy that the underlying fundamentals are extremely weak compared to extremely strong in 2018. And that's when I think you get the next major sell-off in the markets, when the Fed has to act. So I have not sold a single share in my long-term portfolio for well over a decade. I've only added every single time the market has pulled back. I have added to my long-term portfolio just like I added in March. Once inflation gets over 2% and COVID's in the rearview mirror and demand comes back, because you're going to have a massive state of euphoria. Euphoria in the sense that coronavirus is gone, everyone's going back to work, everyone's traveling, everyone's shopping, everyone's buying, everyone's happy, everyone's in a state of euphoria because we beat the virus, we beat the pandemic, But that state of euphoria is what creates the top of markets and the top of bull markets and bull runs. And I think that once that happens, you get the sell-off. And once inflation gets over 2%, I'm going to actually, for the first time in over a decade, start taking profit on my long-term portfolio and positioning myself long-term VIX calls, and I will be short the overall market once that happens, because I think once interest rates are start to rise, I think the markets sell off. I think equity prices and asset prices fall back to realistic valuations pre-Federal Reserve prop up. That's what I think you're going to see happen. Now, this is not going to happen in 1 or 2 months. It might take 2 or 3 years for this to happen. I don't know when this happens. But for me, I'm keeping my eye on inflation. And if the Fed starts to raise rates, that's the time when, okay, guys, it's time to start to get back short and expect another very aggressive 20, 30, 35% sell-off in the overall markets. And we will be positioned for that. I know Jason and I will. If you're part of TTG and True Trading Group, you guys know we're going to be attacking volatility, the VIX. We're going to be going after put options every single day. So that's something that Jason and I actually talk about and we dream about and we lick our lips for, because we lick our chompers, because I can't wait for that type of volatility in the market, because I know that's when you can make your entire month, or you can make your entire year P&L in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks, because that's the type of moves that I expect us to get when that moment comes. So I just, when you were talking, Jason, about those topics, I'm like, man, I agree so much with a lot of stuff that you're saying, and I'm in the car driving, I got nothing else better to do, so I was like, let me call the wolf, let me add some insight to the conversation, and then I was like, I'll let him kind of get back to it. So I know I just kind of threw a lot of information out there, but I wanted to kind of add to the conversation that you guys were having.
We were listening intently.
Yeah.
I agree with everything. I mean, I'm already peeling stuff out of my long-term portfolio, and I'm just looking at it as I'll just be patient and just have cash on the sideline and just buy a house when housing collapses. So, anyway, drive safe.
That's a great idea too. All right, well, that was it. I wanted to add that. I missed you guys. I hope you're enjoying the stream with the Wolf. I hope you enjoyed my little addition to the conversation. I hope it was valuable. I hope to see. My usual TTG fam. I'll see you guys in chat tomorrow. We're going to be going after Roku. For those of you that are not members of TTG, guys, get a pad, get a piece of paper, get a pen, and listen to what the Wolf's about to drop on you guys, because nobody trades Roku better than him. So I'll talk to you guys, my usual fam. I'll see you guys in chat tomorrow. And Jason, I'll let you guys get back to it.
Later, bud. Drive safe.
All right, guys. Later, guys.
Wow, guys. So that was Michael Edward, head trader at True Trading Group, better known as Pizza Mike. Guys, as much fun as we were having over there, and I was getting it. I was going to take out my Infinity Gauntlet and snap him out. But everything he was saying was just on point. And it is definitely something that you have to take into account. All right. So, guys, we've run a little over. So I'm going to just tell you guys, now we're going to come to the portion where we'll get into more stuff. Let's see. Lightsaber falling. You guys like my Boba Fett helmet? It's pretty sick. Guys, I have so many lightsabers. While I'm looking, I'll just tell you a story. So 2 years ago, I asked my wife if I could buy a lightsaber. She's like, yeah, sure, buy a lightsaber. She's like, how much is it? And I was like, I don't know. Opening bid's $150,000. And I was like, it's the original lightsaber from A New Hope. She's like, absolutely not. You've got lightsabers. I was like, you just said I could get one. Nope. So I didn't get it. I was really pissed about it. And then like a week later, I lost 250 grand on options. So she should let me buy that lightsaber. At least it appreciates. All right. So, okay, guys. Credit or debit spreads. Guys, I don't do that. The most advanced options I will trade will be straddles or strangles, and I don't even like to do that, okay? Because when I do a straddle or a strangle, I feel like I'm admitting to myself that I'm just guessing, and I hate. Look, not even guessing. I feel like I'm just throwing shit at the wall. So that's why I don't do it. Are we in over? 4 days of market high futures up now, 110 points. Yeah, I mean, we're in a really weird place, guys. We're not in any place that you can really chart. I think that, yeah, look, the charts are helpful for sure, but we really are in completely uncharted territory, and just like GDP to like market capitalization and like we should be down here and we're up here. It just doesn't work like that. So, what happened with ADT? It went down. That's what happened. Should I buy Roku pre-market tomorrow? The stock? I'd buy it, maybe. If it guys, all right, let's just get into Roku. Okay, so guys, first, this is what I'm gonna do. All right. So if there's anybody in the control room, get ready, because this is what I'm about to do. I am going to do so I know that, guys, I'm not much of a salesman. Let's just put it that way. All right, I'm just gonna say it. But we are doing less and less one-on-ones. Okay, so it's like you don't know which day you're going to get the offer for a one-on-one, so guess what? Today's that day. And it's just because kind of we've run a long while. So anyway, now first off, who has no idea who I am? Okay, if you have no idea who I am, just say, hey douche, I don't know you. That way I know that you're legit. All right, don't worry. I'll give you a second. It's okay. You can call me a douche. I'm a douche. That's so funny. Still haven't gotten mine. Meet you today. Oh, met you today. Okay. Guys, so if you guys don't know who I am, I'm Jason Spatafora. I'm the older, better looking trader in True Trading Group. I'm also famous for weed. I got a stack of magazines that I'm in that I don't need to show you, but it's true. And I look a lot skinnier in those pictures because of Photoshop, and that was when I was younger. Well, not much younger. I'm like a year. So anyway, so what I'm going to be doing tonight is, for anybody that signs up and uses the code TTGWolf8, I am going to give them a one-on-one. All right. Now, I do one-on-ones literally every day. And for some of you that have done one-on-ones with me, I take it very seriously. Not only because I want you to win, but because I want my team to just be up here. I'm very, very competitive. Like super competitive. I don't like to lose at anything. So I want everybody that I mentor to just be blowing out options. And guys, that's what we do. We've just been blowing out options lately. And getting ourselves into some situations where everybody's like, oh shit, are we going to get killed? And guess what happens every time? We blow out the option. So we'll see. I mean, we got US Steel. We just started getting paid on it. But I think I think everybody's a lot more confident about that now. So use the code, it's TTGWolf8. That's going to be good till tonight at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Or, if you sign up between now and the open. How about that? I'll make it easy for you. I did that last time and I still haven't got mine. Yeah, John, for the one-on-ones, you're usually going to wait at least at a minimum a week. But then also, you should be going through the coursework if you're doing these one-on-ones. So especially through the options coursework. If you're wanting to talk to me about options and how to trade options, you have to, and you've never been through it, you got to go through the coursework first. That way when I'm saying something to you, it's not just going completely over your head. Now, if you want to talk about pot stocks, yeah, guys, I can do that all day, And I just want you guys to put this in perspective. When you're talking to me about pot stocks, guys, I'm going to try and not come off like an arrogant, egotistical prick. Okay? But I'm just going to tell you that there's a difference. It is confidence, not ego. All right? And I know that after that just came out of my mouth, how assholey that sounded, but it's the truth. And I'm going to tell you why it's the truth. So I'll give you an example. So a couple years ago, I started getting, I still do. I get press, but I was getting a lot of press just about pot stocks. I'm like the go-to guy. I'm still the go-to guy, except I do more on background now. And so I'd go to these conferences, I'd meet a bunch of guys from like hedge funds, and it always comes around like, hey, we'd like to have a meeting, and I was like, all right, like, when are you going to be around Miami? When, this is, when I'm in LA, when I'm in New York, like whatever. So I take these meetings, and I shit you not, they'd be like, hey, why don't you put your money with us? Why don't you let us manage your money? So I have like a chuckle, and I'd be like, well, okay, well, what was your last return last year? And they're like, oh, we crushed it. We crushed it on this. We had a return of 18%. And I was like, oh, 18%? I was like, yeah. I was like, no. I was like, that's all right. I'm good. And they're like, oh, well, what was your return like? And then I go, look, I'd be embarrassed to even tell you, because you're not going to believe me. And I go, and this has been my return year over year. And so then they wouldn't believe me, and I'd be like, okay, look, I'd pull it up on my phone. I'd be like, look, this is what I'm trading. Hold on, let me go to my Canaccord account. Let's go. And then they'd be like, tell us about pot stocks. And I was like, you're going to have to go on retainer. So what? All right, I'm going to have to go on retainer. I go, yeah, if you guys want me to advise you on marijuana, for your clients, it's going to cost you this. And let me tell you guys, the reason I'm telling you the story, and it's actually funny because Mike actually came with me to one of those meetings, and this is so funny, Pizza Mike style. I'm going to see if I could do it. So I go, so they're trying to get us to put money in this fund. And I know I digress, but this story is just so good. And I was like, I look at Mike, and I look at these guys, and I go, and the guy's like, you could make a good amount of money here. And I was like, buddy, I was like, dude, we're fucking millionaires. So, like that. And Mike goes like this, and he like fixes his sleeves, and he like crosses his legs, and he's got like fucking Louis Vuitton loafers, but his whole thing was like fix his sleeves so his like 50K Rolex was showing. It was Mikey Pizza, perfect. But guys, yeah, that's kind of the moral of the story, right? Guys, people pay us a lot of money outside of this, and we'll bang them. I'll bang a hedge fund for 20 grand a month retainer. I'll take that all day. Like you're paying for another house for me. Yeah, sure. You want to do that for a year? Okay, good, great. I'll take 200 grand to tell you where to not put your money. So guys, you have to take advantage of these one-on-ones, especially if you're looking to do it in pot. Options crush. And a lot of times it's, you guys are making very, very tiny mistakes that just need little tweaks. So, so that's what we do. Can I leave the offer up till Friday? Savannah it's a French last name. I don't know. Milahau. All right. Yes, just for you because I just butchered your last name. Did they believe my yearly return rate? Look, everybody knew what my yearly return rate was because it was written about. Guys, if you. Give me a second. Jesus. So, I think it was in this one. Oh, the Wolf of Weed Street. And then there was another one. And then there was this one. Oh, don't worry, guys. Wolf of Weed Street. I'm not even gonna try. I'll do it. Hold on. So my yearly return rate in 2013-14, I did 6,300% in my portfolio. 6,300%. That's an actual number. Damn. A lot of stuff going on in this magazine. But yeah. And if you saw like the Ides of March, where I just talked about pot stocks in March of 2019, you know, if you were following me then, you understand how my yearly return is what it was. Damn, guys. I have never looked through a one of these magazines. But anybody have any more questions? Let's go. Oh, guys. So yeah. Come on, guys. Look at how fucking handsome I am. What does that say? Come on. So you get the point. Guys, when it comes to pot, there really is nobody better. Hands down. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, alright, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give that option one more time to use the code TTGWolf8 to get a one-on-one with me, which is going to be good until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Highway, thank you. I am handsome, thank you. Guys, my daughter became a model. Well, I mean, my daughter always modeled, but she's going to be on a toy box. So there's that. And if I tell you what that toy is, you're going to shit yourself. Basically, it's a Care Bear with a mask. So there you go. Da, da, da. Jake McPhee, no relation to Nanny McPhee. Do you read patterns? Do you read chart patterns and options for entries and exits the same way as in small caps? No. I don't read charts, and so I don't trade small caps. That's Mike's department. Mike's really good at that. Like when I see Mike reading a chart for a small cap, or Simmons or Alex Campbell or Jay Downey or Chris Toner, I'm just like, you guys are good. No, look, I'll look at the option chart, but for the most part I'm looking at the underlying security, and I'm trying to pick it, you know, in a range, right? So look at it like this. So say this is Roku, okay? Say this is Roku's range. Now we'll call this one the big range. All right, we'll say the big range is 148. Let's say 147 to 158. All right, that's the big range. All right, then I find the smaller ranges inside that pattern. So we'll go like this: 148 to 152, 152.50 to 153.50, 153.50 to 155 to 158. And I'll trade inside those ranges. Now, if I'm doing a put, obviously I want to be on the high end of the range. And I want to gun for the other range. And that's honestly how I do it. Would I hold MSOs into the election? That's actually a very good question. You have to trim into the election, your positions. Period. Full stop. Take profit into the election because something is going to get hit. You just don't know what. Usually it's a market move. Give you an idea, when Canada went legal, everybody thought that this was going to be this massive rush and 30% discount. Like, no shit, 30% discount. Let me see. Let me try something special here. See if I can find it. Jesus, I got a lot of shit on here. Oh, perfect. Okay, guys, I'm gonna borrow this camera because I don't want the light. So I want you to see if you could see my phone. All right, just gonna put that there. All right, it's gonna be a delay, so if you're still looking at my phone. All right, let me back that out. Let's just see. All right, so that is a picture of the October calendar. I'm gonna highlight that because honestly, here's another one. I'm gonna block, and now this is for C45. All right, so I'm just gonna read this tweet to you. So this was on April 24th, 2018. I'm just going to say this so I can Twitter memorialize it. LPs in Canada will trend up into June 7th C45 vote and drop 1 to 2 days after. Go sideways until 3 weeks before implementation. Okay? That's exactly what happened. And then the October tweet, I basically said there was going to be a consolidation, and then I highlighted what days were going to be green and which ones were going to be red, even the days when they would go green to red or red to green. Yeah. So usually my point being is when we have like these big catalysts, it's sell the news events. The run up is into it, and then we fade afterwards. Do I think oil is going to do well before the election? I mean, guys, like, I don't think you should be playing oil options. I mean, you can. I mean, I think like my oil option that I like playing is Oxy. I've actually been looking at Oxy. I'll probably take, if Oxy goes to like 14, I'll start playing it again. It'll make me feel a little bit comfortable. But I think if anything, you should be buying oil stock. If you think it's too expensive, roll profit from other gains into it. Yeah. Oh, and for that C45 tweet, guys, it was 45 days in advance. So 45 days in advance, I said that the market was going to drop. It dropped. And it dropped big. It was like 50% drop in some stocks. And In October, it was a 30% drop. So that was October 18th. I tweeted that October 4th when I was in Spain. And then the Ides of March 2019, I first started tweeting about that in March, on March 5th, saying that I was exiting and that, you know, I was going short, and that this, you know, this is something that I've literally tweeted every year, and everybody tells me I'm an idiot. And guess what happens every year? I'm proved right. And that's why my gains have been so big year over year. Because I'm always coming in the summer at just a massive discount, and I'm buying shares of companies that I like with their money, and then reinvesting that other stuff into like the Apples, the Facebooks, and the stuff that gives me a dividend. So you have 1,000 shares of Suncorp. Good for you. Ugh. Kron, MedMen, no. Kron, yes. MedMen, no. So guys, all right, let's get into, all right, first Kodak. Kodak's garbage. You know, I'm short Kodak 2 weeks out. August 14th? Is it August 14th? August 14th, $14 puts. Those things better fucking pay me tomorrow. I'm gonna be pissed if they don't. I had the $25 puts, I sold them, so now I'm buying these. But anyway, I think that they're going to get that money taken from them. Now on Roku, guys, Roku is going to be all of my attention tomorrow. If you ask me for what my price target is, I'm going to become a serial killer, which you don't want. I'm going to be playing all of the ranges. Guys, people in TTG, you guys know the ranges inside and out by now. All right, for people that aren't in TTG, I'm going to give you the ranges right now. You ready? 148 to 152.50. 152.50 to 153.50 is kind of a no man's land. All right, it's like coin flip. So you want to be very cautious in that range. Now, if 153.50 can break on some volume, you're going to 155. Then 155, again, if you get a break on volume, which I think you'll get now, because you've got so many bag holders above you that are going to just try and average down, you're going to 158. From 158 to 161, it's pretty much a crapshoot. This is where I'd be very, very cautious, and I'd be ripping profit off if you're still in the trade. Guys, but the most important thing to remember if you're going to trade Roku tomorrow is, if you miss your entry, wait. You are not going to have to chase that thing. Let it come back to you. All right? That option is going to be moving around so much that it's going to give you so many opportunities. Now, the question I know that I'm going to get is, would you play weeklies or would you play the 14th? I'll tell you what I would play. If we went to 148, which wouldn't surprise me, but I think is highly doubtful, I would play a 150 call, okay, for next week. All right? Now, you don't have to do that. I would also play a weekly, because they're going to get, like, I'm probably going to be playing the weeklies tomorrow. I want you guys to be a little bit cautious, and I think that you guys need time. All right? Your intention, or you have to, if you can go into these options and say to yourself, all right, I'm going to keep a tight stop, then I would say, yeah, play the weeklies. But if you violate that stop and don't stick to it, you're going to get killed. All right? Especially if it starts going the other way. I'm going to play both. My intention tomorrow is to trade maybe like 10 round trips on Roku. Like, I'd be happy if I could get 10 round trips in. All right. Again, it could be 20 round trips. And to give you an idea, what I mean by a round trip is I'm buying something for $1, selling it at $1.25, $1.50. I'm out. Then I'm getting back in at $1.20, selling it at $1.50. I'm out. Boom. And I'm just doing this all day. Kind of like what I do with the SPY or QQQ on any given day, when I can have like 50 trades on them. If you're afraid, Miss Tiny Trader, if you're afraid to try the option, start with one. All right, and you don't have to trade Roku. You could trade U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel, I mean, guys, it was 75% off of yesterday, which isn't bad. Especially because some people got in. They got in late. You know, they missed the down move. One of my lifetime members got in at 20 cents. I had a one-on-one with him 2 days ago, and I was like, "Oh, you in US Steel?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, what's your average?" And he's like, 20. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I came in late." He's like, "I saw you were in it," so I was like, "Oh, jump in." It's like, bastard. Square setup? Oh man, Square's tough. I don't want to mess with Square. Yeah, Seth McGregor is a good point. Paper trade Roku options if you've never traded them before. Yeah, guys, FOMO, King Kong. Guys, if you find that you get into the red on an option, more often, like if you're always starting in the red, two things you can do. They're so tiny and they'll make such a difference. One, go in with half your size. So if you usually get 10 contracts, buy 5. All right. Second thing, limit order in. Even if you want to market order in and you're like, fuck it, this is a good, I'll take it. Limit order in. Why? How many times have you guys been in an option and you market ordered in and you thought you were buying it for $1.50 and then you got filled at like 160 or 165? The last time I did it, it filled me 31 cents higher. Bastards. Oh, Miss Tiny Trader. I thought Miss Tiny Trader was a member of TTG. But yes, guys, my assumption is if you're asking me questions like that, that you know what options. Short squeeze. Short squeeze, you're a TTG member, right? Guys, you know the options. I don't need to tell you. Like you could understand volatility. It's the things that move like this so slow. If you're looking for an index that's slow and could bore you to death, like literally put you to sleep, you look at IWM. Yes, thank you, RJ. Yes, never market order an option. Okay, always go. And guys, also really simple, but I think I have to say it. If you see that there's somebody bidding and the bid on the option is like 5 and the ask is like 50, yeah, that's not a good time to buy the option. All right? You want to be there first or be the most patient and eventually get filled. So you flip the options contract for the premium price in the same day? Yeah. Sometimes I'm in an option for 5 minutes. Sometimes I'm in, like I got into a Roku trade 2 weeks ago. And my first take profit was $1.20 higher than when I bought it, and literally 60 seconds later. Bye, Miss Tiny Trader. Walk safe. So yeah, guys. Ooh, Jake Maffei, what's your implied volatility you recommend for a new or intermediate option trader? I don't go off of implied volatility. And this is something I go over in the one-on-one. I break various stocks. I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, and I keep them in that pattern. So like I'd give like a Tesla a 10. I'd give like the SPY a 9. Like I'd give US Steel a 4. And so on and so on and so on. And I go based off of that. Like if let's say we're in like just a really precarious market where you don't know what's going to happen with the indexes, well, I'm not going to not want to trade options. So then, I just pivot to trading something really boring. And then just adjust my size and make my like Wolfenstein trades. David. David says, how do you get out of the option getting the price you want before it drops without using a market order? Easy. You already have your price set. You can sell on the ask. You don't have to hit the bid to get out of an option. I set my sells in advance. All right. So like I had a sale on US Steel that I had from yesterday, and I do good till cancel on all of mine. I forgot to cancel it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I sold some. And the same thing with Tilray. Like I sold 30 contracts or 20 contracts yesterday on Tilray on that $8 call at 50 cents. And it went off and I was like, and I was like, oh shit. And then I was like, I got another one. And then that went off. And I was like, no, why? Yeah, you can sell on the ask. And it's going to be first come, first serve. How do I pick the options I want to trade? Like I'll look at futures. So let's say I'm looking at futures now. And right now the strongest is small caps. Jesus. IWM is going to go to 155 tomorrow, it looks like. Yeah, I'll look at the, I'll let the futures dictate where I go. And futures by 11 p.m. or by midnight. When am I thinking about reloading cannabis calls? Soon. I don't like doing it right before earnings. I would like a really nice flush. So if let's say we flushed on Tilray back to 750, I'd be all over it. Also because whatever options I bought at that point would just be house money. I mean, the last options we bought were house money, and these options, the $8 ones that we got, are, gave us even more house money. So, I'll probably take a giant position if that happens. I might go for something like Kronos, or, I might go Tilray again. Might just be easy. Why did I stop Apple option trades? Why did I stop Apple option trades? I don't know. I just, honestly, the last time I traded Apple let me rephrase. Last time I alerted a trade on Apple was 320. All right. Now I've scalped Apple a lot. I don't announce scalps because, especially on Apple, and Apple is a tough one anyway, because you could buy a call in that and then, you're down 50 cents or up $1, by the time you've refreshed your screen on your laptop or on your phone, in my case. But I haven't had to trade Apple because I've been trading Roku. So as Apple has made its run, so has Roku. And honestly, Roku's gone up more, and Roku's just gave me a lot more money. Did I miss the Kodak discussion? There's really not much to the Kodak discussion. Kodak is garbage. They did a lot of shady things. Now the SEC is investigating. And I think it's only a matter of time before this thing folds. This thing was being propped up today. I don't know why or how. I think maybe it's just shorts are just covering their positions, which is giving the bulls, or the stupid Robinhood traders, no offense if you're a Robinhood trader. But yeah. Justin Fox with a very odd question. Are you planning to trade any cannabis stocks this month? Justin Fox. Wait a second. Justin, you're in TTG, correct? Yeah, is this real life? Thank you, Adam. Yes, Steph, that's true. Guys, we've been trading cannabis stocks since June in TTG, and our positions are actually fucking crushing. What was that question? Oh, what are my thoughts about AMD? Guys, I'll never own AMD. And it's not because I don't like it. It's because I did own it. And I owned it at $27. I owned AMD at $27. I had a few thousand shares. And I sold it for like, I don't know, $5 of profit. And I will never go back. Because how can I go back when I just can't. It's like Square. Guys, I'll never be able to buy Square again. Unless it goes under $85. Which I don't think is happening. Boeing, I can buy that. I feel fine buying that. But Square, AMD, I still want to buy Budweiser again. Yeah. Yeah, RJ, this is also 2018. Flo, I'm gonna buy out of the money calls on Roku. Guys, I always buy options out of the money. I don't like buying in the money. Unless I'm scalping. If I'm scalping, I'm usually buying in the money. Hemptown has a pre-IPO investment. Hold on. This, let's see if you can see this. That's Hemptown's, a little bit of Hemptown's flour. They gave me a big bag of it. Hemptown's legit. I'll be buying that one. Oh man, my wife's gonna kill me. So yeah, that was that's hemp flour. That's not cannabis that I just showed you. You know who's really good at investing? A much better investor than me? My wife. You know why? Because she doesn't sell anything. Tom, if you really want me to explain, why out of the money, it's a very, it's a more detailed conversation, and there's a whole strategy behind it, and this is exactly what I go over when I do the one-on-ones with people trading options. Guys, who in here has done a one-on-one with me that's watching right now? I just want to get a sense of who's in here. Fed's printing money. Kodak Black. Will the Fed's printing money lead to inflation, possibly hyperinflation? Hyperinflation, like Zimbabwe, where we've got $1 trillion bills? No. Inflation, I already think that we're already seeing inflation. You're seeing it in goods and, price of milk, price of corn. So, what's the best platform to trade on? It depends. Everybody's different. I use E-Trade. I've got TD, Schwab, Interactive Brokers, which I don't really use. I've got Robinhood. I don't use that either. And then I've got a couple of boutique brokerages. So I've got 3 of those. But you don't need any of those. Oh, welcome, Blake. Why would shorts cover now? I don't know the context of your question. Okay, guys. X think we get in the money in the next few days at our 750 strike. Yeah, I think so. Guys, we talk about Roku. We talk about Roku options and our my success rate. U.S. Steel is probably even more, I'd say I even have a higher percentage on U.S. Steel, to be perfectly honest with you. And also pot stocks. I mean, Tilray, we're at 100%. Kronos, I think we're above 90%. Canopy, probably very high. So yeah, I mean, look, with enough time and an option, and if you give me the right strike, I'm not going to lose. I'm also not going to panic, you know. So, how do you get a one-on-one with me with options? Well, if you're a TTG member and you use my code and you came in through me, then you pretty much get a one-on-one. If you're new, if you've never been trading before, or you've never traded options before and you want to join TTG, guys, TTG isn't just alerts. It's not just, hey, you get to listen to me, you get to listen to Mike. It's a lot more than that. It's actually the course material that you need to go through to understand what the hell you're doing, so you're not making stupid mistakes. And then on top of it, it's a bunch of really cool functionality, from the analyst reports on any stock you want to paper trading. And that's basically using fake money to learn how to trade. So the only way you're going to get any of that, plus a one-on-one with me right now, guys, because one-on-ones are rare. I don't do many of these, so if I'm giving out one-on-ones on a day, best to take it. And not to mention the price is going to go up next month. Guys, we've basically increased our price every single month, and I don't see why we would stop increasing our price every single month. I don't think you're going to find somebody in TTG that's in here that would say that it's not worth the money. Maybe because nobody wrote the contract on Weeble. Frankie, yeah, I recommend that you go through as much of the coursework as you can, or at least, if you've got a specific amount of questions, then use. You might be able to get them answered, or you should be able to get them answered through the coursework, and then when you're ready, we could just kind of expand on that. So, oh my god. Oh, fuck. Well, great. Guys, how many likes do we got going? Guys, like this? Because I want to have more likes and when Pizza Mike is on. So, I want everybody to hit the like button just so I got more. Just so I could beat Pizza Mike at likes. Thank you. Brad Wellman. Brad Wellman, you get the one-on-one if you signed up. If you signed up and you used my code TTGWolf7 and you came through me, just message Elena and she'll set it up for you. Noble Eagle, you're probably right where they pulled the option prices. Abby, am I still in X calls? Yes. Hold on. Let me see. I've got 200 X contracts, and my average is 23.375. Yeah, guys, unless I alert that I'm out, I'm not out. All right, so you guys don't need to ask every 5 minutes. You know, just scroll up, and you'll see on the alerts. You'll see it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all those likes. Yes, Andrew, thank you. Why don't you have candlestick charting for option pricing? Why don't they have candlestick? I use candlesticks. I mean, I look at candlesticks. Well, just so we're clear, you're in X calls, yes. Yes, I'm in X calls. Gotta tell you, I'm in X calls, I'm in ADT calls, which I'm gonna suck tomorrow unless some miracle happens. I'm in Kodak puts, which I'm not really worried about, but I've got a big position on Kodak. Like I've got 55 puts or 55 calls in ADT that I'm just like, yeah, who cares? What I'm worried about are my Kodak puts, because I was just like, I was looking at it today and I was like, Jesus. I was like, this is expensive. I was like, how many of these options you got again? And I was like, no. So, Crawford. We actually have owned Harvest and TTG since 96 cents. We actually took some profit on it today at 124. Joseph Nolan. Go on. New York Attorney General makes an announcement at 11:30. Please. Me and Small Cap Reporter are like, please say Kodak, please say Kodak, please say Kodak. Yeah, Johnny B. Up in Harvest. Not sure. Oh. Boo, Joseph Nolan. Reload T-God. Guys like this. Here you go, is my T-God paperweight. Yay. Yeah, it's for raising $500 million. And you get one of these, guys. Get one of these. Fuck T-God. I hate T-God. I hate T-God now. Alright, guys. So, what's a good price on Harvest? Here's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to run up into earnings in all of the MSOs. Then we're going to slightly pull back, hopefully, and you either catch it or you don't. So this is why you want to hold a core and trade a core. Okay? I think that the numbers, everything that I'm hearing from people that I know, is that the MSO numbers are going to be like earth-shatteringly good. They're going to be so good that they're going to make people reconsider investing in Canada. End quote. So yeah. Later, Frank. Later, Frank Sabaro. Of course, Mike thought about pizza. Anyway, guys, look. For you new members or for you new observers of TTG's YouTube channel, guys, we give out a lot of information on here, and I'm not going to give you this offer again. So use the code TTGWolf8. Honestly, for what you make on a Roku trade, or if I stopped you from making a Roku trade today, or any number of stupid trades, it's worth the membership. And then on top of that, I'm going to walk you through everything, from options to pot stock. So it's pretty much the stupidest thing I could do. It's kind of a no-brainer for everybody else. And if you don't see it as a no-brainer, then maybe you don't have any brains. I don't know what to tell you. I just know that one day you're going to want to come in here, the price is going to be higher, and I'm not going to be doing a one-on-one, and you guys are going to bitch and moan, and then you're going to say, oh, I'm having a hard time, why can't I get this? Why can't I get these options? I'm going through the courses. I want to be able to do this on my own. And I'm going to say, hey, remember when I was doing one-on-ones and you were like, yeah, I'd rather pay more down the line and get less because I'm not getting that one-on-one. Now, does that make sense to you? Does that sound like a good long-term investment? And that's exactly what you're doing. Let's be real. You're buying stock right now, okay? That is exactly what you're doing. You know what? From now on, I'm just going to say that to people. I was like, oh, you want to subscribe to True Trading Group? Well, think of it as buying stock, all right? You're buying 3 shares of Apple, all right? Except our dividend pays more, okay? Because our dividend makes you money, our dividend saves you money, and our dividend teaches you how to branch off and make your own goddamn money. So don't you want to make money? I don't get it. This is the part that I just don't get. Because investing is just as simple as this, right? I mean, wouldn't you guys agree? You do the work, you put in the time, you understand how to get in, you understand how to get out, you make the money, you buy depreciating assets, you go and you make more money trading so you can pay for the insurance on those depreciating assets, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay? But you don't get to have a Boba Fett helmet, a lightsaber, Star Wars Last Supper above you if you don't know how to trade. Everything that is in this office, okay? Everything. From my original Andy Warhol picture, that only 2 in the world exist. 2. You know what that was paid for with? Trading. Trading. The house, literally the house that I'm in, was paid for by pot stocks. Okay? The house. The entire house. Alright? Guys, I've been living off of 10 grand since 2013. That's how I look at life. Okay? You want to know what rich is to me? Going into a grocery store and buying whatever I want and not worrying about the bill. That's it. That and, buying stupid Star Wars stuff. So, what are the chat room times? The chat room starts at 7:30 a.m. and it goes until 5:30 p.m. Okay? And 7:30 a.m. we go through, so we have Jason Simmons in there. He goes through charting, goes through pretty much everything. He'll look at any stock that you want. He'll pull it up. He'll give you the supports, gives you everything. On top of that, we've got a ton of material for you to look at. Not just the coursework. We've got a bunch of web guys. The True Trading Group membership is worth it if you just look at my marijuana webinar. I did a marijuana webinar for 2 hours. Blow your mind. Blow your mind. And guys, please, if you watch that, how timely was when I did it? How timely? Okay? And when we were buying all of our positions in Curaleaf, in Harvest, in Terrace, in XYZ, we went into that with 2 monster trades that basically funded all those. So, can I explain hold a core, trade a core? Yeah. You hold a position, and then you have another position that you trade. Now the percentage that you use, guys, that's why when I buy stock, I buy it in round numbers. So where it'll be anywhere, well, it's usually anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 shares. Okay? Not 10,000 shares in Apple, obviously, but you understand my point, you know. For like Boeing, it was 1,000 shares. All right. So I bought 1,000 shares of Boeing, and I was like, all right, I'm going to trade it. 5 days later, it went up 100%. I sold half, and then it's a free position. All right, where I didn't really do much trading. Now on Curaleaf, for example, we got in at $7.12. First take profit was $7.65, and it just kept on going. And we took a little bit more profit, and then a little bit more, and then we stopped. Then it went to $8.72. We took profit. Went back down to 8. We reloaded. So when you're holding a core and trading a core, what you're doing is you're keeping track of your position. You don't want to get FOMO on it. So, like I tend to not buy. So if, let's say I bought 10,000 shares of Curaleaf, okay, and I sold 2,000 shares at like under $8. I won't buy that 2,000 shares unless I can get that average correct, or if I can buy it under where I sold it, and I'll wait. Now, if let's say I sell 3,000 or 4,000 shares at 9 and then it goes to 8, yeah, then I will reload that whole position. But the idea is to just gradually lower your average. So we started with like a 712 average, and right now our average, if we factor everything in, is somewhere closer to $6.70. So yeah, that's what hold a core, trade a core. That way, if it keeps running, so be it. Nobody goes broke taking profit, and you can always find something else to roll it into. All right. So there it is, guys. There it is. 272 likes, and yeah. So, guys, with this, I'm going to leave you, but before I leave you, I'm going to offer you one last time, because I'm not going to offer it again. Use the code TTGWolf8, sign up, 36% discount, basically going to be paying more soon. But honestly, it's really, you're doing this for the one-on-one. And you're doing it to not really fuck up. Let's be honest. You're going to be doing this to try and make money, not lose money. So yes, buy that stock in yourself, which is so true. But yeah, guys, you see this? This is only good until, what does it say? 12 a.m. Pacific. All right? So if you don't sign up, or if you sign up, and it's tomorrow at 5, you're not going to get it. All right? You're just not. Honestly, because we can't keep scheduling one-on-ones the way that we're scheduling one-on-ones. And for me to do a one-on, TTG Shug has to hang me over a balcony and say, yo, motherfucker, you gonna do some one-on-ones? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do no one-on-ones. And he's like, come on, man, do these one-on-ones. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do some one-on-ones. How do you contact Elena? You can message her. She's one of the mods, so just you can message her. You can private message her when you find her top left. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go because, yeah. And now for everybody that's gonna be in TTG tomorrow, get a good night's sleep because I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of fun with Roku tomorrow. And this is the part that's going to suck for the people that didn't sign up. Because tomorrow we're going to be posting. I'm going to be tweeting out. And that's my Twitter. In case you're wondering what it is. It's at Wolf of Weed Street. But what I'm going to be doing to you poor bastards is I'm going to be tweeting out percentage gains on Roku all day. And that's just going to be further reinforcement to how foolish it was to squander an opportunity to not only make your money, but to get a one-on-one with me. And meet all these good people, because let me tell you, the people in TTG are fun. So I'm anticipating crushing tomorrow's Roku, where so much so I don't really care what happens with my other trades because I know Roku's going to give it to me. All right? So with that said, guys, good night. Take care. Comb your hair. And I will see you tomorrow bright and early. All right? Don't forget, subscribe. Later.